Okay, good morning. Welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. We have a 4-day week this week, right? Friday you have off. So I'm gonna stay on the schedule of lecture on Monday and giving you time to work on Ruby. We've got just a traditional Ruby this week. We finally are in the smaller. We're done with basic knife skills. We've moved into now a cookery. You're gonna see in a minute. I'll pull it up, but we're going to get into a cookery this week. It's going to be a classical week, but we're going to start the lab a day early. So I'm going to concentrate on lecture and Ruby today, and then I'm going to kick off with demo tomorrow, and you're going to mise en place. You're going to do your initial measuring tomorrow. So we're going to start the lab a day early. So the demo, I will hit the ground running on the demo and tasting. I'll put the frittata into the oven, and then I'll give you time then to move into mise en place, and then we'll eat the frittata, taste the frittata at the end of the class period tomorrow. So with that being said, let me jump in. So we're 33% of the way through the semester. I updated grades, as I've always said, on Friday. I updated everything in Google Classroom. If you submitted something over the weekend, I'll grade that today, and I'll do an update in Skyward by the end of business today, by the time I leave school today. So again, my weekly update in Skyward happens every Monday. So please keep an eye on the prize. Again, Google Classroom is where you check your grade in my class. And again, View Your Work tab is where you check your itemized grade to see what you need to be doing differently. The zeros that I put into the grade book every week, of which I'll put the zeros in from Friday today, those won't come up as missing assignments anymore. So don't hit the missing assignments link, because I do everything in Google Classroom. I think now I've heard that Mr. Pollock is one teacher in the building that maybe is doing this, but I do everything in Google Classroom. And so literally make sure you're checking your grade in Google Classroom, okay? 10/13, right? Fast approaching, right? Next Monday. So this week, your lab for this week will count in the grade period. So you'll have time on Thursday to complete your slat. We'll do the lab. I'll do tasting, and we'll do mise en place tomorrow. And then Wednesday, fast day, we will do execute our lab, and then Thursday we'll do our assessment. So it's going to be we're gonna be cooking fast. We'll do mise en place tomorrow, and I'll manage time to keep you guys on target. So I'm going to show you a quick orientation or overview of industry opportunity, career opportunities. So let me go ahead. We're not going to do a group activity around this because it's a short week. I got to.
I'm 19 years old and I want to be a pastry chef.
I own Palmer's Sweetery in Maplewood, New Jersey, and we focus on a little bit of sweet and a little bit of savory.
Butter, sugar, flour, eggs.
Butter, followed by eggs.
I would guess like 80 pounds of butter are used in a pastry shop.
This week we went through 130 pounds of butter so far, and we haven't hit the weekend yet.
A spatula, a mixing bowl, and probably whisk.
1 would be a scale, 2 an offset spatula, and 3 a Sharpie. In the kitchen, we label everything. It's the way we communicate with each other. We label, we keep people safe. We make sure that old food gets removed from the kitchen.
I think in order to become a pastry chef, the most important skills are being adaptable, being creative, and being able to work long hours.
It's really important that you're actually strong in math if you want to get into pastry.
I'm okay at math.
It's important when we're scaling recipes. It's important when we are doubling a recipe or cutting it down by a third. Everything that we do is based on numbers.
I would guess that pastries usually have a lifespan of a day, so I think that for certain orders, she would probably make them the day of.
Our day actually starts the night before, so we prep a day ahead.
Prepping is measuring out your ingredients, cracking eggs, putting things in containers.
Prep the night before is getting all the butter cut for biscuits and scones. It can be scaling the dries for cinnamon rolls. When we do donuts, for example, we have to get the dough done the day before so it retards overnight.
The first step is measuring out what your ingredients are and setting that aside.
Every Sunday, we put out donuts. We start the process on Saturdays. The dough gets made the day before, the fillings or the glazes get made the day before.
I would guess that you like pipe the donuts.
We get them rolled, we get them cut, we proof them again.
Then you like make a circle donut shape.
Then we fry, we let them cool, we get them glazed, and we design them.
I think pastry chefs probably work 12 to 13 hours every day, 7 days a week, even when their bakery's closed.
I work anywhere from 10 to 16 hours a day, 6.5 days a week, mostly because on Mondays, though we're closed, I go in to get paperwork done and I take advantage of the quiet of the shop.
I think 85% of being a pastry chef is trying out new recipes and baking.
50 to 60% of my time is spent baking. The remaining time is spent talking to customers, getting orders, doing paperwork, answering phone calls.
I bake once or twice a week, but next year when I get a kitchen, I plan to do a lot more. I think one of the perks of owning your own business is being able to determine your hours and vacation time.
I do not make my own hours. My customers make my hours. I have not been on a vacation in 4 years.
I don't think it's anything too like strenuous.
Being a pastry chef is 100% physical.
I don't think you have to inherently be a strong person.
When we put job requirements out, you have to be able to lift 50 pounds. Whether it's lifting bags of flour or 100-pound bags of sugar, whether it's lifting a case of milk, it's lifting eggs, it's rolling dough. Everything that we do requires our bodies.
I've burned myself baking many, many times, but I don't think anything other than that.
I was actually at Target shopping and realized that I couldn't move my right leg and didn't know why. I found out that I had a few pinched nerves that were a direct result of not taking care of myself. And
yeah, I talked about this when we were doing kitchen safety and operations, right? Like keeping off, not doing knife cuts all the time by hand, using mechanized equipment. The industry will have a tendency to sort of damage our bodies over time if we don't take care of ourselves and think about how to leverage mechanized equipment.
And lifting the wrong way and bending the wrong way. And it actually took me out for a few days.
I think that there's a mental toll of being a chef, just like from the long hours, but also always trying to be creative and always trying to come up with new things. But I also think it's really fun.
Different kitchen environments can be abusive. I think that you miss out on family and friend events. If you are a perfectionist, you want to do everything right all the time, but you're also a human, so you're going to make mistakes.
I made desserts for my entire school every week. One of the most difficult things to make are macaroons because you have to be really careful about like over mixing. I remember trying to make them once. It didn't turn out well.
My least favorite task would be French macarons. They are still to this day the most humbling thing that we make. It's not just dependent on your skill. Sometimes it's humidity. It's your oven temperature. Sometimes somebody cracked egg whites and there may have been like the tiniest little bit of yolk in there and it can ruin your entire product.
I think a trained chef in 5 years probably wouldn't have any trouble making a macaron. I think that even though it's a lot of work, it's worth it at the end of the day because A, you get to do something that you really love to do, and B, your product makes other people happy.
I think what makes my hard work worth it is when I keep seeing, the same customers that we've done a gender reveal cake for, and then a first birthday cake, and then a second birthday cake. I think seeing my mom in the store and her realizing that I'm not just playing in flour, but actually running a real business that she gets to be a part of, that to me is what makes it worth it.
Hi, I'm Maggie. Nice to meet you.
I'm Kia. Nice to meet you. I own my own bakery. So what do you want to know?
What do you think is like the most challenging thing of like having your own restaurant?
Once you open your own place, you're it. So you're the dishwasher, you are the toilet plunger, you're the accountant, you are everything in one. But it's awesome because you get to call the shots, you get to have things the way that you want them to be, and you get to kind of see your dream come to life. So tell me about yourself. Why are you interested in pastry?
I actually came from a really small high school in California. I started volunteering in my school's kitchen. Did that like once, twice every single week. I also did like Sunday breakfast where we made pancakes for the entire school every Sunday.
Oh, so you're like a professional now. Oh, that's awesome.
What has been like your favorite place that you've worked at?
I would have to say it would be 11 Madison Park because it was my first.
EMP was ranked. I don't remember in the I think 2012, 2015, around there, ranked the #1 restaurant in the world. It's in Manhattan, and there was a sort of a movement that spawned off of EMP called Unreasonable Hospitality. If you're interested in reading, there's a great book titled Unreasonable Hospitality that just talks about how to maintain a high level of hospitality and service engagement in our industry, which is very uncommon today. So that's a recommended read for me.
Professional experience.
I'm actually working there this summer. Do you have any like advice or like tips for being in that environment?
If you show up with a positive attitude, ready to work, keep your head down, pay attention, take notes, coupled with a great environment, you'll be fine. So I actually bought you some treats from my shop.
Oh my
I want you to give it a try and tell me what you think.
Okay, great.
So in here we have some of our crispy treats.
Ooh.
Cheers.
Cheers. They're so good.
Thank you. Marshmallow butter.
That's it?
But yeah, just a little more developmental.
All right, so just a little overview on the pastry side of things. But you know, I try to have the culinary students understand pastry and the pastry understand culinary because some students don't take both classes. So go ahead and grab your learning targets down. And our learning target this week is we will learn and apply basic principles of egg cookery, and we're going to prepare a Spanish frittata. All right, so jumping right in. So we're doing egg cookery this week. Just want to give you a reminder that the weighing structure of our grade, as it's outlined in the syllabus and as it is on the back end, you can see in Google Classroom, it breaks down labs at 30% of the grade, okay? So the most important thing is your lab slats, okay? Labs are 30% of the grade. Projects are 20%. So your top chef activity at the end of the semester and your chef of the week make up 20%. So basically each chef of the week is going to equal roughly 3% by the time all the points are as part of the divisible at the end of the semester. Each one will equal about 3% of your grade. Your quizzes, okay, from Ruby, okay, are equal to 25%. And your assignments in Google Classroom and your Ruby assignments are equal to 25%, okay? Want to give you a quick, just a little bit of feedback on your slats, okay? One of the things I'm seeing some good practices. This is a little bit formatted differently. I've done a lot of upgrading on the slat, but again, continue to show me the technique. Continue to show me pictures of what you're doing, evidencing the standard. I just graded a slat right now. They didn't move the check marks to identify the standard. So you got to move the check marks and then outline who did what to demonstrate the check mark standard, and then support that with the evidence of the picture. So it goes in line laterally across the slide. Okay, so what we're doing, again, I focused on egg cookery, okay, this week. We're doing a basic Spanish frittata to demonstrate that. And again, in Ruby, okay, you've got, I believe you have 2 lessons here. You've got how to make a frittata, and then eggs, anatomy, boiling, and scrambling. So again, you have 2 lessons you'll see here in the Google Classroom links. They're smaller. Lessons are smaller than courses, okay? So you want to go ahead and complete both lessons, insert both screenshots from the final assessments, and then go ahead and add those scores together. Not the percents, but the scores, okay? Okay, a little bit of a joke here. Here, I am excited. Just eat what? Man, I forgot this one. I am so excited. I just can't hide it, right? That's a song, right? Didn't she say excited?
Yeah, my grandma listens to that song.
And then this is excellent news, right? Okay. A little bit of dad humor there, okay? Just a quick overview of egg cookery, okay? What types of preparations have you done with eggs? I'm sure you've made scrambled eggs. How many of you guys have made scrambled eggs? Right? Fried eggs? Who likes fried eggs? Who likes a poached egg? Anybody? You know, my kids used to love me making poached eggs for them. What other ways have you had eggs cooked? Okay, sunny side up, okay? And often what you'll do with sunny side up, you'll crack the egg in, you'll have it moderate heat, you'll put a lid on top so some of the steam will help settle and you know, you don't want the egg white being runny, really, that's not super attractive, so you'll just have a little bit of steam on top, help cook the top of the egg, but you get that nice bright color of the egg yolk, okay? And then the egg yolk usually like cut into it, you know, and just sort of serves as a sauce for whatever you're making. The benefits of eggs are that they're inexpensive, balanced in nutrition. They're fast and easy to prepare. They're a really low-cost nutritional solution. They're simple to prepare, right? Obviously, heat regulation, as we learned last week, is important. Obviously, in egg cookery, it applies just the same. And then the quality of the egg. So you can see here, the lower quality the egg, okay, the more the spread of the egg. So when you crack an egg, if it has a really broad spread and it looks sort of watery and runny, probably your egg is maybe ready to be discarded, or you purchased a low quality egg to begin with. So the water content's a little bit higher and it doesn't hold together as much. You don't want a broad spread. You want it to sort of stand up like this one on the left, okay? Okay, and then you've got the structure of the egg, the anatomy of the egg, and the sizes of the eggs. Obviously, they're diverse, and you can find still eggs in the store that are fairly inexpensive. We moved to legislation last year in Washington that all eggs now need to be cage-free, okay? And so they are more expensive than they used to be because of that legislation that went through here in the state of Washington. But you're going to find a lot of the time when you find eggs that are reasonably priced, they're going to be smaller eggs, okay? And a lot of the time the consumer doesn't pay attention to the different sizes of eggs. You got small, medium, large, extra large, and jumbo. And so you're not going to find a jumbo dozen for $1.99, right? And then you've got like duck eggs out there. How many of you guys have chickens at home? All right, there's always some students with chickens. That's pretty cool. And so if you want to bring your own eggs from home for your frittata, feel free to bring them in tomorrow, okay? You can see the anatomy of the egg, and the chalaza is sort of the embryonic, you know, the baby that wasn't fertilized, right, in the egg. And a lot of the time, it's just a little white, dense area of the egg, completely edible, but a lot of the time people have a challenge with that. If you do scrambled eggs, a lot of the things that people struggle with the chalaza, they struggle with density issues with eggs. What you can do is whisk them up, okay, and then put them through a strainer, okay. That'll help them be homogeneous in consistency before you cook them. And you can see here the grading, all right, of the eggs based on the amount of light in the egg. So when they put a light up to the back of the egg, you can see AA grade, right, less air pocket in it. And then it moves down to A, and then B grade, more air in the egg. So they go through a grading process as well. All right, we talked about just sort of the types of cooking, boiled and fried and scrambled, hard-boiled, a lot of different options out there. Again, we're doing what's called a Spanish frittata. So we're introducing some vegetables into it. It's an open-faced omelet, basically. Okay, degree of doneness is another thing to think about. A lot of the time, depending on the preparation. Anybody ever made devil's egg before? All right. So, and then you cook the eggs, and they're overcooked, and they're sort of green in color. Okay, so you really don't want the yolk to have that overcooked degree of doneness. Okay, all right. So, what you want to do is be cognizant of the cook time of the egg to align with your desired degree of doneness, and you got to understand that in the context of the size of the egg too. Okay, the egg represents, right, classically, one thing that a lot of people don't know, the chef hat, the pleats in the hat are representative of the number of different ways you can cook an egg. That's sort of a myth that's out there. I would say every chef hat has a different number of pleats in it. So depending on the manufacturer. So it's not really completely true, but it's a little bit of little tidbit of information there. What I want to do now is release you guys. You need to use your time accordingly. Pull out your Chromebooks. We're gonna work on Ruby. You really need to get it done today, okay? Because we have a shortened week, we lose Friday. We need to lean into this and get both units done for egg cookery completed today, okay? So grab your Chromebooks out and let's rock and roll.